What was the dumbest thing you ever did to try and impress a girl or guy? My senior year of HS, I told one of my best friends, who was also this sweet, beautiful, very in shape, football playing boy, to throw the football as high as he possibly could and I would catch it. You know, to impress him and make him realize I was the girl of his dreams. He threw it. I did not catch it. I did fracture my pointer finger when it bounced off my hands. Had to wear a friggin' finger cast to school for a few weeks and go to physical therapy for my finger. He felt terrible. I felt like an idiot. He did buy me "I'm sorry" flowers though. So that was nice. People at school thought my finger brace was hilarious, since I was constantly walking around giving a number one hand gesture due to the brace. Everyone at school started giving me the number one gesture when I walked by them. Good times. This past year I threw a fairly large college house party just so the guy I liked could attend. I didn't want to show him too much favoritism, so I tried to run around and talk to everyone as I was the main host. Luckily my best friend kept him company and acted as my faithful wingwoman. The night ended with me and my crush talking outside, getting closer and closer, until he asked me if I threw the party for him. Even being drunk didn't soften the blow of straight awkwardness. I tried to laugh it off and deflect, but I'm a terrible actor, lol. Looking back, it was kind of obvious the entire party was an excuse to see him. And I now understand why I liked reading The Great Gatsby so much in high school. Can't locate the post, but on a similar post a guy commented that in elementary school he liked a girl with glasses and didn't want her to feel like an outcast, so he would come home from school every day and stare right into a light bulb to try to damage his eyes and need glasses. Signed up for a French class in high school because the girl I like was in one. Turns out she was into me too. But my dumbass signed up for French 1 when she was already in it, and the following year she was in French 2 and I was sitting all alone in French 1 in a class I didn't care about. I lied and said I had experience in journalism because I didn't think we'd have anything except a brief encounter, when I'd actually only taken one class in college. Our first date he took me with to report on a local clash between police and citizens, and I got tear gassed and robbed. Getting up from the bleachers to play dodgeball. I tried to pull my sweatpants off while yelling "let's do this." Ended up yanking off everything, boxes and all. Bold. In elementary school, when I walked by this girl I liked, I would pretend to chew gum and crack my knuckles cause I thought I'd look cool. I was the first high schooler she knew who got my license. I drove us to hang out with friends of hers. Mostly guy friends. I guess she was trying to date one of them. I know that humiliation. Had a similar scenario driving friends around, and one of my friends ended up fingering my crush in the backseat while I drove around. Wrecked. Edit. Thanks for the condolences, guys. This happened 24 years ago. I've moved on. I've posted this before but still funny to me. Dating a gymnast in high school. We'd go to a park and I see parallel bars that are designed for stretching, but I'm convinced I can do a handstand on them because I'm awesome. She keeps insisting they are too far apart, but I don't listen. Attempt said handstand. They were indeed too far apart, so I collapsed down, jamming my chest past my hands and tear all the ligaments holding my chest muscles to my breastbone. Good times were not had later or for a long while after. I tried to jump through a swing. The plan was to go headfirst through, do a somersault on the other side, and look super cool. I smoked my face on the wooden seat. When I was a teen I took taekwondo classes and there were two beautiful girls around my age. They liked to go and have a smoke behind them all before class, and I wanted to be cool and impress them, so I took up smoking too. Semicolon. It was about 2 weeks in when one girl came to class early, so I went and had a smoke with her. Then the next girl came in and wanted to have a smoke, so I went and had another one with her. Semicolon. When we came back we started doing our warm-up laps and I felt very queasy. I had to throw up, so ran outside. right next to the Dairy Queen. I threw up all over the glass wall where the cashiers and several people eating looked on in horror. I intentionally threw multiple games of Uno to let a girl think she was amazing at the game. I memorized the complete poetical works of Robert Frost. Took my friend to the driving range and she asked if her insanely hot friend could come as well. Said friend mentioned she's never hit a golf ball before, so I'm thinking jackpot, I've got a way into talking to this girl and an excuse to ask her back out one-on-one if that goes well. Get to the range. Hit a couple of warm-up shots while she's getting her clubs rented and she takes the spot next to me. Decide really crush this ball to impress her and give the swing everything I've got. Missed the ball and clipped the ground and broke the club right off the pole. It proceeds to bounce back and smack me in the face and give me a solid shiner all while she's watching. Wow, thanks for the silver. Did a backflip from a tree about 5 feet up. Landed it. But the ground was slippery. And I used my hands to catch me falling backwards. And broke my wrist. 10th grade me. You were a moron. If you put a strike anywhere match into a straw and blowed it onto the sidewalk, it makes a pop and lights where it hits, so I fired them all around my crush's feet. I tried out for an 8th grade school musical because a buddy of mine dared me. I got the lead role and then I spent 4 years of high school pretending I liked theater. I just liked building stuff and stage crew. Stroke. Edit. This is the most attention a comment of mine has ever gotten by a huge margin. Thanks everyone for telling me so much about yourselves. Close bracket. Edit number 2. Thank you for Silver Stranger. Got a tattoo to impress a girl in my psych class. It did nothing and now I have a piece of peace by a guy named Philly Steve on my leg forever. Call me if you see this. Ashley. Not really dumb. But kinda funny to look back on now. I wasn't good at sports. But I was fairly quick. So I joined the track team to impress a girl. Turns out the girl wasn't impressed by runners. But I did end up going to state in the 100-meter dash and placing second. Edit. I also ended up getting a scholarship for track, so it was sort of a win, I guess. I just realized my entire school choice career path has been a result of trying to impress a girl. Edit 2. For those asking. My best time in the 100-meter was 10. Told some girl I liked in 7th grade that a kid pushed me down the bleachers to elicit sympathy. The kicker is that she was there when it would have happened. She did not believe me, LMAO. Also the same girl I asked out while knowing she had a boyfriend. I was a dumbest 12-year-old. Drove from Virginia to New York. To pick her up from an airport in NY. Which was about an hour from where she went to school. But it worked, so that was okay. Edited for clarity. Learned how to rap Crack a Bottle by Eminem. How was this delivered? Did you just go up to him and start rapping at him, or did you wait for an opportunity? I can't imagine what this kind of opportunity looks like. Sat through a marathon of the first 4 Twilight movies. The guy I was seeing went on a vacation with his family for 2 weeks. And I had the key to his place to feed his cat. While he was gone, I painted his bathroom. He thought it was weird. But seemed mostly okay with it. Semicolon. But it worked. He married me in October. Got into a downhill snowball fight while skiing at 30 miles per hour. Take up smoking in high school. Didn't get the guy and it took 15 years for me to quit smoking. Haven't been a smoker for almost 7 years now. Quitting smoking was one of the hardest things I have done. Learned all the words to Sir Mix-a-Lot's Baby Got Back. Ran into a busy road and picked up a hedgehog. Wasn't run over. But my hand stung for a week. I won a Fear Factor contest at a local festival completely randomly. She dared me to sign up and I did it on a whim. When I was 15, I dropped a heavy book on my head. It was this old dictionary. A single volume that was easily 8 thick and probably weighed 15 pounds. I laid down on the floor. Held it over my head with my arms fully extended. and dropped it a foot and a half right onto my forehead. I guess either it would show how tough I was. I was not tough. It sorta worked because I dated her until freshman year of college. But that was likely in spite of my actions and not because of them. I wore her super small hoodie a whole school day that also had a really strong perfume smell. Even got genuinely ed at my friend when he jokingly tried to take it from me. Can you please explain the events that led to this? Tried to backflip from a 5-meter diving board. There was no flipping involved. Just me falling on my back into a pool from 5 meters high. Didn't feel good. Don't know which one was more bruised. My back or my ego. Well, when I first got with my now husband, I wanted a change, so I dyed my hair jet black. I'm very white. I don't know why. But I used the box dye on my eyebrows too. I looked like a lying freak and I thought it was so cute and he'd love it. What is wrong with me? I was alone in a park in front of my house. I was standing by the monkey bars just fooling around. I was around 10 at the time. I see a group of around 5 girls cycling towards me. All about 16 years old. Thinking I can impress them. I jump on the monkey bar. Still looking at them to show off. Turns out, completely missed the bars. Fell from a 6-foot wooden playground flat on the face. Teeth tore off my lip. Crying and everything. They ran over. Asked me where I lived and carried me home. They were really sweet about it, but it was pretty embarrassing for me. Edit. Holy, this blew up. Thanks for all your upvotes and funny comments. Also, I took more girls home when I was 10 as opposed to now 10 years later. Time to swing on the monkey bars in my gym. Dude took 5 older ladies home. Legend. I tried to do a front flip off a trampoline and land on the ground on my feet. But ended up doing 5 front flips and landing on my face. He mentioned he liked this little independently owned pizza place across town. We were in college and I didn't have a car. So I took a bus across town to pick up this pizza and bring it to our informal club meeting. Took like an hour round trip on the bus with a giant 18 pizza. And it was definitely cold by the time I got there. Offered him some and he turned it down, so I later learned that he was a super picky eater and didn't like any of the toppings I got. One of my friends helped me eat the pizza. I must have impressed him some other way. Though. Since we've now been together for almost 6 years. Edit. I realize this wasn't dumb so much as funny misguided. Oh well. Sat next to a girl I really liked in high school calc. She would get upset because I'd get A's on tests and she kept getting C's. She cared a lot about grades, so I tried to be comforting. Saying it's a hard class. I have a lot of lucky guesses. Etc. She was having none of it. So I decided to get a C on purpose on the next test. We got them back and I was all excited to show her. But she got hers back and she failed. Like below 50% failed. Went to donate blood with a girl. She didn't donate due to iron deficiency. I saved 3 lives. Semicolon. I did find out my blood type, O+. I still donate to this day. Edit. Embarrassing to admit, but the only time I truly tried to impress a girl was in primary school when I was about 10 or 11. I would swear when she was near and always gave the impression I didn't give her. Backfired though. Stabbed my leg with a kitchen knife. We are gonna need some more info on this. I was abroad in Dominican Republic. They had a dance competition on a stage. Anyone could enter and it had around 200 people watching. I was about 9-10ish and spotted a cute girl who must have been around 14-15. So obviously I decided the best way to get her attention was to get up on stage and dance my heart out. Cue 3 minutes of awkward shuffling. While maintaining constant eye contact with that girl. And horrified queasy looks from my parents. The coordinator cut me off early by pretending the speaker stopped working. I got a pity clap. Tried to raise a scooter down the steepest hill around. Crashed into the back of a funeral hearse and shattered the back window. There was a body inside and the family was outside waiting to either go to the cemetery or take the coffin inside. I got up, covered in blood and glass, grabbed my scooter and hobbled away to the nearest alleyway. I tried to do a backflip. I've never actually done a backflip before. Not even on a trampoline. I actually would up just jumping backwards and hitting my head hella hard on the ground. And then I woke up and threw up a bunch. If she ever had a thing for me, which all my friends said she did, it was gone that day. Edit. For everyone worried, I did wind up going to a doctor. He said I was an idiot but that it was a minor concussion and not to worry unless more symptoms, started happening. I was about 9 and I was super into Pokemon. Thought the boy I liked was into it too. I tried to impress him by constantly spouting Pokemon facts at him. Turns out he wasn't into it at all and he thought I had autism. I actually got one. I was 14. Totally fully in love with this girl from my class. Go to ad. We kinda flirted for a whole year but got nowhere. She was the kind of girl who likes attention, so you can imagine how she kept me hooked up knowing I had no chance. Since it was getting close to Valentine's Day, I decided I was going to impress her and make her mine. By learning how to play guitar and all her favorite songs. A whole week practicing like a madman and actually learned 2 songs I knew she loved. So fully prepared and convinced I'd hit jackpot. On the 14th I go to her house. Call her out telling her I had a surprise. She pops her head out of the door. Sees me and my guitar and nopes the out of there. Telling me to leave. Hey, at least I now know how to play a guitar. Edit. Damn, you really liked me getting a door slammed onto my face. D, thanks for my first mega upvoted post. We had a mutual friend and we organized to surprise this mutual friend for their birthday with a surprise dinner before going out on a bar crawl. Was hoping to show her that I could be a pretty cool dude. Helping out with this surprise and cooking a pretty good meal. Semicolon. Ended up getting blackout drunk at the bar crawl and apparently I tried to push her into a frozen river. Got my nipple pierced. Are you a girl or a guy? Started smoking. Wanted to look cool and have an excuse to talk to her. It worked but we only dated for a couple of months. Biggest mistake of my life. Edit. As this is my most upvoted comment, I would just like to say since turning 28 on Saturday, I haven't touched a cigarette since. Now you just gotta find another girl to quit smoking for. Ended up watching 13 Reasons Why because she said it was like the best show ever. P.S. It wasn't. In elementary school, I was somewhat of a ladies' man. One time at lunch, I thought, hey, maybe if I shove this straw up my nose, all the girls will think it's funny. Then proceeded to do so. 10 seconds later, there was blood all over my food because of a bloody nose and I had to be escorted to the nurse. Had to see a specialist for a few months afterwards. Lesson learned. She was one of my roommates. We were moving out of our house. I had my pack all loaded up. She asked where I was going and I didn't have anywhere to go really. So I did the smart thing and said I was hitchhiking to Mexico and she was invited. We were together for about 16 years. In middle school I asked a girl out by commenting, will you go out with me? One word at a time. Each on a different post of hers and in reverse order so that it would read as the full question in her Instagram notifications. She told me it was the most romantic thing anyone had ever done for her. I didn't really keep up with her after that year, so I DK where she is now, but I know I set pretty impossibly high standards for her future boyfriends. I was in New Zealand. Was going to a beach party with some girls from the hostel I was staying at. To get to the party, you needed to take a $2 ferry across this inlet which was about 1 kilometer wide. I decided to swim it. To impress the ladies. About halfway through I realize that I'm slowly being swept out to sea and I'm losing strength. I'm not sure how. But eventually I made it to the other shore. About 100 meters away from the pier. The ferry had docked about 2-3 minutes before me. And I just nonchalantly walked over to meet the girls. As if I hadn't swum against a current to near exhaustion and was swept out to sea. Good side. It worked and I ended up hooking up with one of the ladies. Bad side. The $2 was for a round trip. I was flirting in class and I asked what school she went to. IA. So you come here often? I pretended to like going to church. Joined the youth group band and got baptized. I had a huge crush on her. Lol. She ended up going to prom with me, then never talked to me again. First grade. Dropped a pencil under my desk just so I could bend down and smash my head off the desk, coming back up to make a girl laugh. Teacher was a hardest and I was sent to the office. When I was around 6 or 7 years old, I pounded a honeybee on a clover flower with my fist because I had seen my older brother do it. It stung me. And I ran off crying. Needless to say, I impressed her. But not favorably. Got up on stage and sang karaoke with modified lyrics directed at them. Also got 3 other guys to help me out, one of whom had a girlfriend, but that I knew the girl I was trying to impress liked despite that fact. They all told me it was a bad idea. I should have listened. Last I heard she had gotten married. Had 2 children and was happily doing her thing. As for me, in the 15 years since, I got married 5 years ago and have my first child on the way, due in 3 weeks here. In elementary school I liked this girl and I saw her touching her nose and I shouted, "EW, you're picking your nose," so people could hear. 20 years later and we're married with 2 kids. Nah, just kidding, we say hi sometimes when we pass each other on the street. Anyways, you're probably wondering how this was supposed to impress her. Well, my dumb tactic was that by embarrassing her she would think I was cooler than she was, and anything embarrassing I would do would be excused because she got caught picking her nose. I know. In hindsight I was just being an irrational meanie. Is this how negging was invented? Married her. High school beach party. Was trying to impress the whole class and a specific chick. Someone brought spicy wings. I said this isn't spicy and got some bird's eye chilies. Chopped a couple of it and dropped in a bowl of soy garlic dip sauce. Picked up a wing and gave it a good dip and ate it. Face got number and lips swollen and almost fainted. Everyone had a good laugh. Got laid later that night. Happened when I was in middle school. Not as dumb as the other answers here. But I would scream like a banshee whenever my crushes got close to me. I was weird back then. Edit. Okay, maybe it is a bit worse than I thought. Not as dumb as the other answers here. Well, that was a whine lie. When I was in grade 5 I had a massive crush on this guy in my class. I was the typical weird girl and he was one of the hockey boys that only hang out with the popular girls. Anyways, on my birthday I decided to tell him I had a crush on him. I was decently close friends with the boy he hung out with often, so I asked him what I should do. I regret asking his opinion looking back now. So at lunch recess we all go out to play in the snow and I managed to corner and maintain my crush's attention long enough to tell him how I felt. He pushed me. I spilled on ice. Fell face first and broke my nose. It's still a bit crooked to this day, but I'm pleased to say I got hot and he looks like a mutant mole rat now. On a 4th of July date after going out to dinner, I took her out on the lake in a canoe to watch the fireworks. It was awesome. Young macho me. Of course. Turned down her offer of help with a large canoe and I manhandled that thing like it was nothing. Put her in it while it was on the grass and continued manhandling it to show off just how strong I was. The next morning I had to call into work sick because my back muscles were so strained I couldn't get out of bed. My back was sore for over a week. Edit. Did it work? Don't kiss and tell is a good rule to live by. It allows respect for those you date and yourself. You want to bend at the waist and lift with a jerking, twisting motion.